Abusia, day and whoever to ja say back in the olden days na another Lumba and my uncle say what's one no. Aye, ya really buy another Lumba yareno. Obeju Ghana halum say. Now buy no, ye try odobroni eba picture him in the scene of that Lumba. Na chese me ko say wa akra no, wa anya asede bia. Enti that Lumba abusiafo mon sorry mon ka mo ho. Na mon ka che ko say wa say wa anya bibia as eyere mamuni abema na se modehye no wanye bibia ma no kire se woye bawre friend we ni ho asi wo se woye tim legal wife no enye no kore enti mon kasa na mon kira ko se wa se wono wonye bawalefo se waje ni o ma kenten so enei tim legal wives no ne da no wo kire se wono na de Lumba eyere wa abada won so wale mu kura no ye hu asede bi ni amane bi a woye ma de Lumba empo ne da ho no wa anya asede bi ama no ebusia ene nkomode o madi bi pa wo nsemi mu kame ho ne nkwaje nsem mu ntwemu embra
one day akwala no ade no de akwala
ame se me sister no ade no mo de ye no nye
Akosua tum se usi no ye
Onya dear, but Asem no, she's not entirely at fault. Won't shut down to the make an assume. And you are no one.
I'm not saying about I'm not concerned about
yet you man nipa no kwaje contract so okoye bibia say wo no sori abo wa so life aye to line on ade ma nipa no ade no ko promise omo no he can't do it. He doesn't have the capacity to. Enti nipa no kwa no mo magiti no so agege no so nipa na ade ma nipa na opeso ye no ontimi nye e na sa wo wako na wo ko file police report na waduro na evidence we na say evidence ni wa. The question is, what has that got to do with the girl ne kan ye ne de wan kan do ye mummy enka no pro. The reality is say papa no call ye na nkokuta mami aba wo na mami misao ohene no ayi ha hwan ni enkan no wo call ye na wo so wo call file report no e de ba de na ada pick me the delete evidence ni free no phone so na say me online so be catch me say pick me and the information no every no phone so enti sa dia sansem na omo keka no waye say no koka so ene de ni na ye nkonkonsan ye ma bi awaye but they
no omo forget here no
and America say me de omo pe bi omo nkan na me de me mfi omo it seem like say omo sheda no ma target no because the issue at hand ne say ni na ntimi anche e friend say hwan ni check. And the question is, what's the adene free phone? So pick me the delete free so now let's say me be ka say e be a pick me for the phone secretly and we yi free hunte bi odru ho na ni ho sa na de omo ka de ni am all years metie and so sa de wo kan say no so blogger bi I say and no de we say fast no
Debi o just fufu na mde ba na no kwa de nye mo se o kan yo se o ko dina akwa bi live so
live no na me wo so
Erikusu se hwa live no na wo so
na nya Erikusu ya me ko ye ne ye I ne friend is say me finidi or the tour guy no prestige aba ami aba me patron ko ni
couple Akosua couple
enya couple dia so na me ko ye dia me ko ye na ye
dia
wa hwan Ikwajo media or Kwajo media
ono ne dia na me course bi na I was there so na Ashanti was so
media bravo
omo fa na no a pretend no a drop no no asaba no I was there I fed was AI and I was on the live into me sa ne ma no mu yedi na hu hia me dem me person me hu ne say how did adia pick me ye no stop it or hene no from man say hene no from making sa or falle sa claim na intia wotina ka mu free akra ko du kumase no eno na me pese mete pick me on the delete video no or
I feel like that guy is playing with their minds at this point. I don't know.
These are the questions
they are shielding him and no ma po bi no ma yi asem ni na ade abonipa no e no mo pese ye ni na yete ase say the girl is at fault in the interest and so me so asem ni me trust we ni because me question is say e dey ba de na girl ni ye nti ani no went me anko chechekel went me an file police report na eno na me pese mete some girl na anya to prevent him there, then I don't want to hear it. All of this na akoye nkonkonsa, akoye it's just talk. It's just talk. Nipa anya nkwala o. Prestige, me pacho welcome. Hey, Mr. Asante aba. Hey, Mr. Asante mafu be yin kwa mi hu.
Na me si no mla mesa ba na me tashi.
Wona mi bisa legal ne mama no.
Okay, eso makasi mi. Ila ni akupo.
Storage minim sao minim na chese minim na chese me pesa me chese ge na de no mo keka no me am no me follow the baby cause akoye as a kasa keke because we all know asem no yinim asem no mu ankasa nti we de akoye bibi e ho me patcho Prestige whenever you are
I'm a chef for the boy voice note nina
ani aba mesro ma me legal rep kasa we ni na
yeah, Akosua. On say the na me kana ebi mu nante ase no. Say ade ne de e ba ya na law. Law no so de until say ade ne de e ba until say law fufuro e beba a ye besesa existing ones na e besesa nia e wo ho no. De wo wa na ye befa. On say marriage ankasa no. Court a treaty say a contract and tort. Like as a contract agreement between two or more people. Say be a DC non person with specific terms that those things are binding. In a tort so the compensation that is paid whenever one of the parties get damaged and whenever one of the parties is pained or is hurt. To the moment marriage assembly court OWUSU that principle the principle of contract and also the principle of tort whereby a court ni person or award the compensation timbeti yana your aggravated damages your exemplary damages your general damages nina falls within the remit of tort. Say after say ya can be area yehu say una di for na wanya de no nia ono bibi koti ano no e wo say tumi esum no ana etumi pata no hanti sam pata de na no law ne kan tort atwa ti ase enti no say wo want ase sa wo no bedwene ni differently. In June say you be a fellow promissory to marriage, breach of promissory to marriage. They see I say me am do for atawa hai. Say me ne ata me be man no catch ata me do. Me pese me waro. Enti no huni say mase o pe me na me no wo ho. Na asama me catch ata no ata de ne ho to so. So okay, also payment and the side I mean so me penalty me the margin na makoma be ma no na koba say ma ware na we breach BBF no breach of promissory to marriage and no say ata you be a opese o ma me ho kire me obetumi sue me court so o sue me court so a ye beje empatade e de ama no so that is when the but say even at us you nyakra joining yourself together as husband and wife not just a contract ni mu adimu on say mu gina so for animu a mo can for better for worse till they do as part ni na part of the terms in the contract in marriage in law no you can say marriage is a specialized form of contract because about 80% contract. Inti se unu obi kwa ware na emu asede ni amane no se wanya etumi masa aware ne ye voidable. Ina ya onyoma bi wo so asa wo ya eno so tumi vitiate aware no. Tumi ma chem say there's difference between discharge and vitiating. vitiating ye idea ebe twem kura e wa bra untumi sa kra nkai se aware kura we kura exist akoye se annulment and dissolution. You can say but there will be record say adieno happened that. Now say ye twem kura to understand say it does not even exist. So you are vitiating factors in contract and voidable factors or discharge factors in a bit of can say some of the discharge factors a breach performance. In some of the vitiating factors no and so a mistake no can you ma wodo miensa. Your common mistake, your mutual mistake, and your unilateral mistake. Yes, answer what vitiating factor about a fraud. And one thing in pain, I notice a fraud vitiate everything. Honey free. See what is say? Also, what is say? I can say fraud vitiate everything. If you contract me, so the moment a fraud everybody be you see it vitiates. Just say a charge in me a paper didn't cry free the surface. Emma yen kasa didn't cry it ever existed. Intino say uno be worry. Now worry no. Emu times no so when this wa. Nipa no to me jina so the court. It said you be to me jina so the court say you've breached the promissory to marriage. Oshia me boss obe worry me na me dem ho to so wan worry me nti court mbo woka. Sana worry so tie. Inti me narrow no ediaba mama Akosua Serwaa say me a preemptive statement say me dey based on my knowledge no any based on me no say compare say impo so to me prove say certificate dey kra e wo ho a anka the court will go into the matters because see Ajabako say this year to say the High Court has inherent jurisdiction all involving human rights. The High Court can break in and break out. The High Court can break in and in to extent on what we say. And the High Court can break out to the extent on what we say. To Osha Article 30 of the Article 33 of the Constitution now, or the High Court the inherent jurisdiction. And now here Article 141 and 2 now. Also the High Court the inherent jurisdiction. And you can put further echo in all civil and criminal matters. Intino TUMI diama Ghana High Court no. Or to me bora baby. In say out is a manuka we can choose and compacts na yamfa we are court, customary marriage and court. In the we are saying the court no e can customary marriage you don't know that the jurisdiction of the High Court. You don't know the jurisdiction of the High Court, so you make that argument. But the lawyers they know. And they know say when matters come before the court, say even if it's not part of the pleadings, the court can assume jurisdiction because evidence has been laid in front of him or her. And you know, say, woni obite. Now, more worry. Now they will say, on saka certificate. Into 1 year, a more money and a more sadia. Certificate never tears a certificate. A bedroom maybe now we never brace a okako pre-bibino. Court bet my catcher said that certificate was voidable. Because the performance, no, any breacher. Ebe muno a set itself aside. Even though Obian found by court in Fembetwemo, but the court can go back and declare say at the time sa issue no occur no that certificate was void. The court can do that. Internet maker say I don't know say ya na ya bana say let's take out baby na yen face law no. In this Akobaze Bianca certificate in pro ebaye. In a other party proving say, okay, even though was certificate no. Now so a mamre a money and one yentina ama certificate ni grano, I avoided. Ebi also we have voidable contracts. We have voidable contracts. And the voidable contract can be set aside at any given time. Emu example ba kuna medema no. Emu example ba kuna medema no. And they say, who no be a contract and I no be a negotiation. Then you pan at the time only a negotiation, so undo legal age. Obetima kosuni na yo, o je no koya. Or even say Kobas will be sporty say at the time I'm on your contract, no. Then you pan do the rightful legal age. The contract will be set aside. Then only in law you can say that contract is voidable. It can be set aside at Inti sana say matters echo judges name treaty about our area. They take into perspective all these things. And with two eyes. Contract and thought. Contract. So all the elements in contract, it will come into play. It will come into play. So if it but any legal brain behind common business and say, unsure me what is meant by voidable contract. So Tiasian Kwadi or Bakan making.
Receive me patch on the voidable contract me per se before answer now be proceed no. Yen fa say obani be ma worry. Na at some point ne be man relocate to say Lumba scenario yi. But Obani stays in Germany. Now yen take you odo bringing out of the picture. Na yen fa say nka deal free mu. Enka mama
chance na be me nam no network no
me say yen fa say mama Akosua ni deal omo separation ye ba ye ya mama Akosua e ka Germany a Lumba e ba Ghana. Na yen fa say ye take odo bringing out of the picture. Enkadi ofri mu yi enkadi obusuafo betimi e de maame Akosua kugina kwota ka say ye this ye even though na ne wa ware no anya ware no mu asede ne amane nti no ware ne yenji ntum se na adaso ne no ware.
Exactly the point I'm making.
And the court betimi ayesa.
Oh, say for instance, ebia ne ma neba ebia neba betumi ejina wa yesa.
Let me be more specific. Obi to say maame bempoma, which is Lumba sister, nko betumi ayesa.
Only edru our remu immediate family na ya na omu we chire sa.
Okay.
Ebia sisters ni we no. Ntina me omeka say na your immediate family me who be the immediate family wo. The law is clear about the role of Ebusapeni. The law is clear about the role of extended family. Or say if a person dies, the body reverses back to the extended family, and the head of the extended family is Ebusapeni. Meaning the baby person more call with the immediate family. Meaning any point of law be a bit me abo.
Enti enya mama say in this instance no. A friend may say Denise to say obi to say that the Lumba first child no onyema one maame Akosua ba no. Enko betimi aka say no. At the time maame papa wo no. Na woni ni waware contract dey but our mu amane ne awo ayi no na wonye nti betimi de maame na kogina court.
Exactly, because or vested interest or
community interest. Okay.
I'm vested interest. Community interest. OWUSU Dr. Makutu for in the case of Tufo versus Attorney General. Or vested interest or community interest. If you can on by the prayer padiamo, in this say, a bit me affected, so bet me a call. But what must I say?
The passion me to ask
you know, say, I don't know, say, who know you what? You know, got to show you my baby. What you show you my baby. Into no fees and I made more certificate in Kwa, certificate in Kwa, and no soon to say, and on a Maoya, more money and I said, to everything there is a responsibility. And you cannot run away from the responsibility and claim, say, more certificate in Tina. No. Say, you could be a baby. So, a judge is standing more analyzing when you Oh, Masati read it because me person me yet exercise go home. Masati read it a case no. Oh, me who say former attorney general pick up a person or appeal. I want to understand the grounds of person do. Masati read it. So now they me read it here. New mama pick up no. My baba chilem waha. Akwea na so on the problem kwe. Oh, akwea fencing. Oh, akwea na so on the guy ne kama kwe. Oh, Niama pato Niama. We read it now as to how I read, coming across all those things. Now, the preliminary kind of master chief read it, he applied the principle of a contract, say Muamani and Muasidi. And the Supreme Court, or can say, you see, in Nancy case here, or interpret Article 22, no. Or says, the Article 22 can say, a kind of automatic say Bema Ufrimua with Japadi no and our bow film and I say our food personally entitled to 50%. I would say Supreme Court or interpreting what interpreting is a rebuttable presumption. Net as a person say Niana Edahono a rebuttable. And she then general fapim. You bet you must already, you bet you marry Batty. So the Supreme Court went ahead to interpret it properly. And pursuant to their powers in Article 130 and 21 as having the original jurisdiction in interpreting the Constitution, almost say you have to show cause, you have to show proof why you deserve that property. And your responsibility na court na twa aduna koso. And me boya responsibility na court na twa aduna koso. Whole Supreme Court too. Or say you have to show proof say you contributed. Court na twa aduna CBB say there is a responsibility in marriage. There is a responsibility in marriage. Intino to me ka say oyemi kunu. Because I am kunintino, one man Japadian. Now we will say who 50%. Supreme Court said no, it can never happen. You have to show cause why. You know, say one two one tia dinasia. Obefi say oh so pass me kuta paper ne de no. Now you can't to trim and then you can't say marriage and the ordinance. I just say court in quite a bit with him. It is whereby both parties know you are respecting the terms in the contract. Into for instance, Mariah Ta sorry them ordinance be okay. My name Mariah Ta ordinance mu. Atayena said the means me said the bibia koso kama. And none say ekoba say me pese mi jawa. Then you can say unless there is a divorce, that is a court to chum. But me ma do mo dey say Mariah Ta me kuta paper na me say makota baby ntatanya your person ya. You have voided the ordinance. Why voided no? Your actions have voided it, and the court can set it aside because the responsibility na woman no one man na nya juma. Enti no say on say e ba sa no je yenya bote na nyina yenya academic exercise no. Na ye nsua, and I can give you some cases the court has made pronouncement on that. For instance, Osha case be your friend Heward Mills versus Heward Mills. Oh, we know the spouse moved out of the marriage. No cases be do. Me do feel me be me laptop no put the spouse moved out of the marriage. Now, officially in the financial responsibility, the court was able to set aside that marriage. And no any responsibility na court in person. Oh, until we say section 2(1) of the Matrimonial Causes Act. I can clear and I can desertion one sem no. On say desertion so no yen can be seen na yakwa responsibility. Because if you desert someone, then that means you are taking yourself out of responsibility. Where is a tinipa no nya kwa na wonna unye aduane ma no asede ne amamre wa ware no onye So the moment a disaster baby, all those things, you are not going to say it. And no kind of the Matrimonial Causes Act. More person more kind Matrimonial Causes Act. Okosha in 2-1 a womb 1971. On the day make I say there are some laws when we are moving forward as a country, we saved it, we brought it to ourselves. You had to buy for it, interning existing laws. So all those laws a year juma. Intimisamo our ena can was yes our the responsibility to say court to share no. And the breach of promise to marry, court to me say what would be one crack curtains open one so tears and quadi say one worry now you have breached it. Intimate something can say man so move and cocoa too. Serwaa so that is how it is, Akosua.
I have a question. Me say you touch a bit on property. One will say, for now, no. I mean, it's been public knowledge. Say DO owns 2 properties in Germany. And say no, so based on court, court I may say DO as at the time we are not remove. And I know said there's a court case recently in where these were couples that lived in London or properties in Ghana, they had own businesses and stuff. Courts in Ghana, they check London property. In this instance, as I say, deal you remove or more property what Germany no. Court no better Germany I mean the Ghana court. And I say, oh, me beche Ghana di ane ni akase say ni beche no di Mr. Ochi mukaka.
You say the basic I understand the open and say Ghana yemrano. I say ubi free mu na wanya wela. Straightforward. The law that kicks in is the PND's law 111. Even if you are holding some sort of testamental trust, the law says you have to file it. It will be in the record of the court. So the court will determine how the property will be shared. Pursuant to PND's law 111. To the moment, the law that kicks in is PND's law 111. And only they can say letters of administration in those stuffs. Now, the property, so no open so determines a property, you'll be property. The person should have what we call title. Commercial law, title and risk. The moment title is passed, risk is also passed. To the expatiate one principle of commercial law be said stopped by agency. So the moment title is passed, risk is passed. Say for instance, say mikuta idea na say me ton idea ne demand. Na idea ne be your property and who risk ni na no Akosua wafa. Because my pass title na then at the amount. Inti say a person who say property will be there, will be okuta title. Was for risk. So I don't say betom say property na a war Germany no a Lumba there. They can list it if the 1 year whaler. That is if the 1 year whaler. They can list it as part of the properties of Lumba. And when they list it and the LA is being granted, they can take steps through the foreign ministry to make sure say that judgment is being effected in Germany.
Okay.
Because public international law, any conflict of law, these things plays out. You can't a conflict of law in law. You can't a conflict of law. A conflict of law and say in a mindful for one say from Asia. What happens? In a public international law and UN, African Union, the treaties need those stuff and a public international law. In any Germany, our treaties, any Germany, our those agreements, no, and only a public international. And as a court order a court Germany, how is it going to play out? And any a conflict of laws.
Okay.
And they will take steps to make sure say all these things are being effected. So many evidence actually say in the or property in so they can list them as part of Lumba's property or Lumba's estate.
In teachers, Mammy Akosua Copelli now one listed those German properties and Indian Kawu. As long as say, or the lawyers bet me prove say, Lumba and you will know to me prove say, dear property near the property near dear, it will be part of the properties and
yes, if he has a title, that's it. Yes.
Okay.
Simple.
My other question is say, okay, there's been rumors say deal he did a trust fund for the man. 1 year will, but he did a trust. But being said Nipano, he was now near Behun Sel, he was married to 2 women. No? How does the trust play a role? Being said no, because clearly if there's a truster, with Nyama Bebra Mami Akosua it attests to say on trust to be baby. In that instance, and how does the court go about this? So, be contested trust no be
me, I have different opinion about the trust now. You can't say no, be any opinion.
Okay.
Oh, media, I am of the views. The constitution free act of parliament never. Oh, in of the views. The constitution free act of parliament. In a act of parliament, so no, I know name na point. TUMI who say obi your trust not I was so far court. What was at nuclear account? Any testamental trust must be filed. Oh, TUMI who said so ukita trust. Na say because of court account and dey partner. We bit much engine easily. But what did they mention?
Is that because the trust was not filed?
No,
and I said generally
because Emran say if a person dies without a will, and you see will no acquire first what the transfer property the comobi. So, simply for instance, any pan 1 year any deed, ebi or tiasano, ebi a wire deed or transfer a Japan dia movie, no de nonko, but ebi any pana nye bidisa, many pano ebi a wakase ebia major padi no more am trustee no mon hweso na mon chama we mon chama and any pan free ma I was say mon file sa document no we do if you code the relevant portion of what was at you have to file every testamental trust to the court. Oh, in the moment I file to court no o file to court na say ko ba say e duru Japan enche na ye the PNDC law 111 na be che.
Okay. And Sinatra said based on what you are saying no okay so I don't think so makoye search bia o. And I say Ellie now mufale and does it also equate to so makoye search who say papa
confirm or deny say Lumba or you are not 1 year ago because say the lawyers end kasai.
Okay.
But we na akwa file search. In okoye search no switch let's say will be any ho.
Nipa no ene was as nipa no ene was as nipa no ene was as
the best advice what the bema one say you will.
Yeah.
Oh, because so can say if you are operating on a trust no be bit much challenge because trust we no say who that trust document now so far. Intend the obey will na prayer but what did they mention but ko ba say we ni wa the immediate law kick in PNDC law 111 dey change apade. But the make us what must say
na to wasepa
inti no say no say unse mama ko just say one dey ma ade no hete short it down say parties now won list almost say you have they are you were in agreement no so you were in agreement no they are coming out to say omukura no muni mo hwe they are not part of it. Okay, so ntiama ade no I shut down I shut down. But in letters of administration, say nipa no efrim na wanya we na sam ko early na enya wonko na wo ye. E wo say busuapani ya part. E wo say oye no e part. So mu yemenu so mu nyina ya part. Nkra wa so mu nyina ya part. Na mu nyina maka bom. Na mutu ho na mo na maka akoye.
Okay.
But baako fetch so akoye na se baako ka se de bi me kwa me yawe won se be ma agena e shut down. You not meet the necessary criteria. So far as there were no consensus added them there. Then agreement in one there. Then it means say near my many ben enkusi aga. Because we actually unti enko baby. But the people mu there sanka omunya na omukabum na nkomo ye den omoye.
Omoye.
Ena we nso no yagem na ebe chu. Only other boni file boom. Na court no use pia ni so 111 na. Court be follow process no. Obesho nkran first. Nkran so obesho mo musa. Yeah, calculation at who.
And then Mr. Dakwa was all two bars me go over calculation.
Calculation at all. Me na sheshe ho. Until no minim de enti akwa rashes on nkwa. Me I knew say it to hate a snack. Because moya yenu mienu into the sound the crack on us say oh file at the end of the day
Motimenka
Sasan Pacho afede metonka
sa ho ye de
na me adumu wo ba metonka che I hope so ho ye
ya me adumu unia be ma me ko asa na owi be se makote ba bi kakra bi
oh ye de na me aso ho ye nkwa de
prestige me chiao
yes senior manager so mama kusa say wa say rush rushing dodo what them echon rushing dodo won say na no mi bi akibi wa na e wo ha na so fufo e baby enye say nya ha
no come on say ha
sister sankana na kujo wan ko be ka me say for instance even na say odo ewu munya mu fantu mu fo say o ma be ma efrim no ba be fight for the Japadia den papa sister even at all evidence could say I hear people say no evidence do a good but no crime so if you have a lawyer who will fiercely oppose it was beshi wouldn't be in lawyer be a friend of third party right. So assuming say Lumba on an Japadia there in no family kwan so aton dia ma Asante now e bia wa oye no dia ba say Japadia na Asante ekuta no sika wu do you think say court beka say who contribute bi ntino or Jeff Asante sem yes sir because third party right will support Asante because Asante family kwan so no to say Japadia ni fi Lumba wo
pepe hey
ntino advice ni say woni be ma tena say mu ye Japadia boma mu mienu mu din emra title no so so my bearman no kwa din di kwa but o receipt a say wona aton so na aton we a so far as bearman ni din na we Japadia no so de emrem na bearman ni dia o so nti evan say mama go say Akosua receipt bibia na say ko ba say dan no kan e wo Lumba dimu na Lumba afamra kwan so transfer dia mo bia nipa na on na wo no onu ni asem third party right abem into receipt ni na ya fiasco. You get what I'm saying?
Mete wasapa me kra de sa kra ha me kra me tu omfo a wo msa Akosua te ase obi nkoja ni kunu ni se na papa yi wetimi ahwe na ama na ko oni obi akowo nkola 6 no wo de yamfa ne se court kra ka se odobroni ko nya yira se ne odobroni masses wo no na ekocha Japadia no wo de bibia funfun tan o mo so ko mo se susantu mo benya more than wo ma no they are more in number and they are younger.
And as my Mickey, and not Mickey in the Sentino, and people when you now sank a year consensus, a year added them, a year agreement. What I said, Nipan will free me. Okay, means me will say, into the young credit mattress, why your crown and come out to crack kaya, and I'm not transfer more car, and gave you a job, and a bear can say the oil was all the cocotte.
Exactly.
Well, me, I knew, sir, certificate to me provided.
But de yenhwe eno de certificate in dem me yankondere no
Akosua appeal no some after 6 months appeal no twem.
After that bay.
After 6 months there's no more appeal.
They say 6 months in base that bay. They say there was some me any countdown.
Number enya na me cheche mu no.
Yeah, they say there was here countdown to 6 months.
Appeal no enya no TUMI wo CI19. Oh, CI19 any a court of appeal rules. Who do we are? Order 9 one appeal process appeal timelines for appeal. Order 9 of CI19 say SMC or trial court or the court below. Now we are watching say person who appeal here and man say file a notice of appeal. Notice of appeal no say you are notifying the court below say who person who appeal. So the court in Babe answer or Babe photocopies of record of proceedings any BBBA trial no mubiano or be who photocopies. Eja kwa command the registrar of the court of appeal. Into who file notice of appeal now, you are notifying the trial court say only BB Sama. To file notice of appeal now, you have your 3 months, which is your absolute right of appeal. So first 3 months in there, you will write, you will write in law, you will statutory right, I was aware then, the appeal. But 3 months na eba besona say wo he na say untumi enfa appeal na you can file for an extension. O file for an extension na you have another 3 months. In the first 3 months no akoshegu. The extension of another 3 months no so eshigua. You cannot appeal again because there is always an end to litigation. What do you mean? Can you file notice of appeal? No, oh, 2 years. Any court people will flood it with plethora of rates, frivolous rates. So the moment a 6 months, Baban, you cannot appeal again. Into our appeal after 6 months, they came from the time of judgment in the buyer. Now I'm going with order 9 of CI19. Order 9, rule 4, rule 5, rule 6, rule 7, rule 4 and 7. Okay, I cannot. Rule 7 say if there is after 6 months there's no more extension. Odo pandemic Kenya bi mobimbi na nipa ni enkan nti. In after 6 months appeal be any hobby. But there is an exception. So they be a say law an exception. The only exception is that when there is a nullity, then you can go upstairs at any time. And the nullity here is whereby ye breach will be right. For instance, if the ordering or term party was not followed, so I say you must give the person the right to be heard. In TBA within the trial court, judge one the right to be heard and yejuma. And ABA within the trial court, there was some fraud. Fraud vitiate everything. Mm-hmm. The moment I over notice those things, and there's a appeal time in Petromua, you can even go to the Supreme Court and apply for Serwaa. And there's a popular case whereby the Supreme Court has always upheld it. Say the case of Barclays Bank versus Cable Metals, or say whenever there is a nullity, it can be quashed at any time. In America, Kevin Taylor semi-court Supreme Court na Kevin Taylor none the right of appeal na twem. None the right of appeal under the law na twem. But okoti that provision we catch the Supreme Court say there is a nullity. Nullity ne say my lord no at the restaurant to so making some pronouncement when tiena no asem into a breaching the rules of natural justice, the audio term parting rule. Essence we breaches our rule it has become a nullity. So the Supreme Court was seized with that power. He was asked at the court. Court ni beside said, why are you here? In a lawyer no beautifully quoted this law. The Supreme Court said this court has been clear, said whenever there is a nullity, it can be quashed at any time. So the court asked him, where is the nullity? And he quoted the nullity, and the court assumed rejection and quashed it. Say because of my lord, when Kevin Taylor now making pronouncement to presume say Kevin Taylor credit for Nintino he has breached the rules of natural justice. Anytime I can say penny or case because as some no court they can invoke that. Because mo to no maintain no masem. So mo invite na e KWABENA mo fa so invite no.
But then mo say some gitu abi o.
In fact, I have a prestige one so my wife atawa.
Atawa ni subayo prestige and etunufo and just to
me atame pena so much say I love people who are brutally
Akosua
ata just to me bomb and I just do the abrem prestige so what is me fra wa homache na ya ata akofa sma brain
me say o pezo nguma wa we o
abe mi ngunida ngunida na mom me ma cancer ya we so akofa sma banti ye fra na homache esre na wo sore
me comporting home ko ha misro
Martin
me comporting
atame say omo odan enfo we ni mbawate eno anu na kawadwen
no me say ye be wi asem no ma sesa medi
no anu
akama mpacho kasa
Prestige bacho to say appeal there na wo kan ma tini baby na ma tini be me boni ban because on so APUSU on so at least the council and so or yejumo court na there say like once we be file so so ko appeal no say I think o say o amount ya obi tua because of wa ka say court ne be o ma print and you ma video akuma register of the appeal and appeals court no o say utumi tua enu wie dia anytime ubitimi ya appeal no and ubitimi take even a year ubitimi akwaya appeal no so unya o notify court of appeal no mom notifications of so be appeal na utua ho ka ni nyina wi like ubitimi ama na da ho kakra even up to a year kra nsa na ubitimi ya appeal no so say and I to see me no
but only be o de be o de be order 9 of CN
no ngwan be bia ngwa ko bi mba cho
file phone
me adwuma so be be we go me
person obi bie
ata video akoso eguta phone be for
mi nkuta extra for ka be ba nipa oridi ma me nim ba bia wa fashion mu ma me ko fe no ba
into the pressure mono let's go about fashion mono
morning
let's go morning sir pacho we
jamia do pacho
Namia the boss is no way pa. But the last one is also now Alex Abuami because me rather
first one there my answer me see and can order 9 of CN.
I say the last one is also say a case of matrimonial home any day because I think that me bass for na cohesion kakra also. Say me be ma me ni obi ware say me tie me ne me ya ware ni etiki. Na say me tu if he has say na me kwatena sandema say the sandema hina bai. Me tu kwatena sandema sisi ya. Baby I may be man akotena na matrimonial home na baby ana me ne me yere ne tina meja ho na matrimonial home pacho mbese me tia se kakra me say
oh say me din kakra chi mo ha o me say the head of the family is the man. Always know the head of the family is the man. Is the man who dictates the pace. Now there are so many cases a court now about the head of the family the head of the family inherently no it is inherent. It is part of your right. A part of your right. Send a more our right. Yeah, you're part of your right. You are the head of the family. Now, say oh Bema no, okay say be a open say move family from her to her. Also obani di wechi. Obani to me can't say oh Bema no so bagan and tell you should be able to come. So to me metra I will say communication here juma I will say consummation here juma I will say cohabitation here juma nti ya nkofo bi wa omukunu mu Ghana omoye nu abrochi every year bi omukoba omukasa de bi aso all these things na prove say unya ne ho but if those things are absent then they can no why am I deny avoid I tell you when you get a certificate ne pan so na ho ni. That is why I talk about the voidable contract. But what I say, so communication, consummation, cohabitation, all these things is part of the contract of marriage. To say a marriage is a specialized contract. It's a person. In this a bear man case or bagana. Intino ebia or babe per life for her. I was so back. So I was on to me, my dear, and then I was almost our egunu. And you whoop it. A bear man pay one at the head of the family. And you cannot take that one out of every man. Now you see, for instance, say be a woka se ma. Now to me prove what we call a be a abuser. Then the burden will not be on you. And for instance, me ma a case be and I'm find Aku versus Aku and Abraham. So for instance, they be a me say me call Ghana. But me so me be maybe I'm a boom ma evidence war. To me prove say because of say me bound to be booming to mama, then that burden will be left will be taken off you. But if you cannot prove, be man ko so Kobe.
And na prestige mentia say Mami Akosua 2018 letter no. Why did they strike it out in court? Say lawyer Kusi can't say person be involving into any court discussion.
On the 2018 letter, then a blue pa because on one casa create some sort of acceptance with Lumba. I stand to be corrected, Alex Waha. So let them work and say one till Lumba can or bear assume say the marriage is broken. So as can be right?
Yes, but me when say let there's a portion that she could have used it to her favor, and I definitely it's a portion maybe to say the woo Kenya and Quebec was damage, but overall no me when say and lawyer could see me use because to say desertion ya woo King. Me na me when it's okay if you are stating say ni pani abusive. Then to me it makes sense as to the any pane ba urban where ni na chit one time bunku.
No, unim. You see, talk is cheap. You find can law. That's it. Certain young girl maybe what's in the word. The word.
I'm so bet me. I say what the abuse no to papa no so papa men deny and also swear.
No, T. Who alleges must prove. I mean, you see, my main can't say me one. Talent is not always consent, but silence can be a consent. In contrast, they can say silence is not always an acceptance, but it can be an acceptance when the need be, when you allow it to be. So, for instance, so my letter say "Mante won can me fan say." One my creative man say silence means acceptance. Into one thing can I say Lumba so we do because okay, so say Mante won can be fan say judge and men so me my own thing can I've accepted it. But to them can what say.
Into so na say salad and the na kwan bien ho mo ben na e be boa mama no.
Baby man can boa no because wow say Mante won can me fan say. You know, I say I stand to be corrected, but I have the idea says I na tie say Mante won can me fan say already no.
Yeah, me no me dey with ma take you kura me na me hu ni say ko mo betimi aben no. Omo betimi aben na me sense say.
Just a minute, me nka bibi ketu abi. Balance me mo akwaba. Ense maame no esan kan say me de wonsa akọ ama waji. Ense okan no wum say me de wonsa akọ ama waji.
And some no na
yes, entin so waka say okwa akogina so e de letter no aye bibia. Enu ebe bua ne fo.
Mr. Asante,
I mean, Mr. Asante, who arguments na mami? Ye mami Akosua me kebi ma wenye ye wo ba. Atraya me kebi ma wenye ye.
Suppose. Now, when I can say letter, no man use to court.
Omu use ye.
Yes, omu use to court.
How so? How no more apply?
Starting from paragraph 15. She made reference to the letter that she ordered her lawyers to write to Lumba. That is an acceptance of the owner of that letter. In that same paragraph, Osai a cancel one statement say, but one order the lawyers no to include in that letter say ordinance akomana busiafo.
Me cry me refi sa part no. She says a letter no try na sa portion no na wono na an cancel ampa. Some no do so me kai sa part no.
Yem go back.
Ampa me kai sa part no.
Ye letters no. Your letters no season 1, season 2, season 3. Season 1 no. Akosua Serwaa letters or tray directly when Lumba was alive.
But let's that only ever share Lumba response no.
Oh, Lumba response not there. Yami adoma Tuesday na Tuesday. Yamfa Wednesday. They say the only Yamfa Wednesday.
Let's say wow promise me that mo or the bring to Alex and Kabibi. But Alex, what's that bed Yamfa?
Wednesday the intra make us and say that Lumba ayi asem no. I say boy. One chichiri bi ensia opa wo eti yenya time na me adoma Wednesday anymore na I think say prestige I was off on the Wednesday anymore on
anti
Wednesday no that's fine anti Wednesday I'm a boy na
so Sasana woke at the Wednesday na storage coming out to the whole of Wednesday very mind so
Alex on family show
sorry na story invite me mama ba how story
me never busa ni on family na dey na hwe me de money me de ni about the very
that no my
say who say me to kwan you won say that Lumba nsem ekoso nyina no up and down fache me why
now Alex, so quick question. I know you don't want to go into details, but why did the lawyers also say that the Lumba called it a bluff, and now the response was a bluff letter?
Okay, there were 4 letters that were written by Akosua Serwaa. February or 2 letters.
While that the Lumba was alive.
Yes.
Boy.
Or 2 letters while Lumba was alive. And I'll trade 2 letters when Lumba.
When you say February of what year?
I'll trade February 2018.
Okay.
And I'll trade September 2025 when Lumba was dead.
Okay.
The last part near 1st February and 1st September and 10th September. 10th September and Yobia will be. But 1st September and only few of us know. And the last one I ever recognized all 4 letters was the one that was released on 3rd October by Baba Jama and Associates. Mind you, first 2 letters that were written in the month of February 2018 was written by Mesha. 2 letters that were written in September was written by the Adai consul and the last part response was directly addressed to Baba Jama. That was the September 10th, and then Mombe responded by the 3rd of October. To the 3rd October address all 4 letters of Mami Akosua Serwaa. Indicate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 responses from Baba Jama with the heading response to Akosua Serwaa letters. The first paragraph was addressing all 4 letters, said they've accepted and they've read it. And dear called the accusation as a bluff because Mami Akosua Serwaa letter, the style of me who be our letters are. And when I'm talking about Mami Akosua Serwaa, I'm very careful. Look at certain things I'll try. Mami for one of her letters, the 4th February 2018. You wrote a letter to your husband referring 34 years of marriage. Oh, check it time now, 34 years and then so here. 2. Acceptance or no woman. Now my worry. Oh, I'm requiring. And court. You also accuse him of say 1 hour 3 but signing or 17 account, which is 20. What's like I say of fan for, including your friends and our colleagues. What's like I say or your one tom, wabu apai wanumpo. What's like I say on regado kranse upo we nipa. That is the physical and the marital part. Uko the next phase. Usa kase umami wu ye kra no ameyensi ye. Usa ba beka say wan kasa usa de nensa bre no na wasan so age whereby a watchro mu say wage a that means amamere kwanzo there's nothing. Usa ko bi ma no wasa ma no a condition say in the next 10 days say wama you proceed. Underline word wama. If that Lumba ma, we assume it's a proceed here. And that letter is very sensitive, but so the back court now behind paragraph 150 now. Paragraph 150 of the 49 pages now 75 pages no chere say that Lumba ntiase. Enunti untimi nyene ho ano. Now why
and seven munche munya kwa jabano ai cheku ya yenchi ni kurampo no yesi evidence na eye cheku yi enti ekoduru eye police station na yesi evidence omokro mo saso muni no eye die enti anase nipa bai e na delete evidence ni free na phone so nti a wo chere na busuya ene wa wani tuya nkoma Akosua yi ai zed Lumba busuya yesi mo kan chama me kusa se wa se onya ba warefo e mother Lumba what team my friend team legal wife no and they say the team legal wife say mama ko just say wa onye team legal wife ai because so kai was ha AK Black Media and they kan on media share mama sere so be subscribe na wa share ma foforo ensa etimi aka bi na waje wa dwentre e comment section ye be share one sem foforo makao